Welcome to the Hobby Maker website. Today we're going to be making a mortar hat for graduation with a bit of a twist. So follow along. So the first thing you're going to need is an 8-inch square of black cardstock. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a few folds. Don't let the word origami scare you. It's really, really simple. So the first fold you're going to make is from corner to corner, so that you're making like a bit of a book fold, so that when you open it up, it's like reading a book. Then you're going to turn it 90 degrees so that the line is horizontal towards you, and you are going to fold it again. Try and make sure that your edges meet, because otherwise you might have a little bit of trouble when you're folding and unfolding it. You can burnish this with a paper, a bone folder if you want to. Open it up and you should have a cross. Now the edges are going to want to sit up. So what you need to do is flip it over. So now you've got a tent, okay? And what you want to do now is turn it 90 degrees again so that it's on a diagonal, a diamond shape to you. And you want to hold that cross in the middle. And the last fold is diagonally across from corner to corner, just once, not twice, just once. If you put your finger in the middle, that should keep you almost completely straight. If you do go off, all you need to do is where you've gone off is just make sure that you trim that along there so that you've got a nice sharp corner. The rest is hidden inside the card, so only you know it happens. So where you'll have folded that in the diagonal, you want to open it up and you want to flip it back over again. And what should happen now is if you put your finger in the middle, it's like pressing a button and it pops back up. You'll then be able to take the two sides that have the diagonals and bring them together. And there you have the inside of your card. Give that a good burnish, both sides and down the middle. And there you have the opening of your card. Now what we need to do next is make the panels look a little bit more interesting. So I have pre-cut these cards for the panels at 3 3/4 inches. For those who need it in centimetres, it's 9.5 centimetres square. And then one on top of that so that you can actually write on it or put your sentiment on it, which is 9 centimetres square or 3.5 inches. You'll need to do 2 sets of those, and you can just go ahead and stick them in the top right and the bottom left corners. You'll notice that we've only got 2 full squares, so you can't get this wrong. Just get them as centered as you can. So once you've got your main squares in, we need to now use 2 of the other squares. So you'll have cut them exactly the same way. And we're just going to simply cut them up across the diagonal to make the triangles that we need for the 4 triangles that pop up. So literally, you can use your paper trimmer if you want to. You are literally just cutting them into diagonals, and you are sticking them in the diagonal spaces. So now you have your square folded, matted and layered, and just make sure that it all still folds down. There we go. So now the inside of the card structurally is done. So we can decorate that card now. So the first thing we need to do is make the hat, the top of the hat part, this. So all I did was I took a piece of card that was 6 inches square, 15 centimetres for the outside to cover it, and I took a piece of structure board which is 4.5 inches square, or 11 centimeters square. And what I did was I've just put some double-sided sticky tape on one side around the borders, and I'm going to remove that sticky tape because we're going to cover this with that card, and just so the top has a little bit more structure and strength. So I am going to lay the card down first, and just like when you're wrapping a present, the sticky tape upwards somewhere in the middle. It's not really that important that it's accurate in the middle because you're not going to see underneath. So stick one down, then turn it round and stick the other side down. Just pull it up with your thumbs as you bring it round, and then to wrap the other two sides exactly as you would wrap a present. So make sure that these are nice and burnished and flat, and then you can turn over the corners. And I like to cut the bulk off in the corners so that we don't have bulkiness in the corner. So I cut across and just cut out some of that bulk. So when you turn that over, then use your thumbs to bring it really tightly over the card, keeping your corners tucked in. If you need to, you can pop a little bit of glue under there to keep it down. There we go, hold on to that. Doing it this way rather than just folding it over gives us nice neat edges in the corner. To make the button on the top of the hat, all I did was popped out 4 1-inch circles with a hole punch. But you can use dies or you can freehand them if that's what you've got. Simply glue that to the center of the hat, in the middle as far as you can eyeball it. And then to make the tassel, you want to take a piece of card, the same card, that's around 15 centimeters by 3 centimeters, which is 6 inches by 1 inch. And then you want to just cut some fringing down that card. Be careful not to go all the way to the bottom because you don't want to cut it off. You leaving about a 1 millimeter gap between each, but it's really not that imperative to be super duper accurate about this. So just cut them up. You may have those scissors that already cuts in, you know, sort of several strands at one time, but I don't. So I'm turning this now. If you've got a quilling tool at this point, it might be useful, but if not, just using your fingers to tightly wind that around will then give us our fringe. Now, every now and again, you might want to put just a dot of glue to keep it in place as you roll, and just leave about 1 inch at the end so that you can tuck in your little string. Now, you can absolutely use real string or thread or whatever you have, but I wanted to keep it the same as the hat, so I just scored a few 1 millimeter lines into the cardstock that I've been using, and I simply cut that little tassel string from that cardstock. There we go. I just run it through my fingers a little to give it a bit of a twist, and then using your glue, you can just insert that tassel there. And then continue to roll the last inch of your tassel. Just hold it in place while the glue sets for a second. And there you have it, your little tassel for your hat. So now it's time to put it all together. So ensuring that you've got your origami piece the right way. Hold the triangles in the left and the right hand and bring them up to the center. And then when you put it down, it should open like this. And you want to be attaching the top of the mortarboard to that opening. But first you need to attach a little tassel. So I'm going to face that towards me. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here on the top of the hat. And I'm simply going to stick that to the underside of the hat, which in a moment is going to be covered by the mortarboard section. Once you have that in place, you can simply glue all around the top of that part of the hat, the underneath of the hat. And then we're going to pop on the mortarboard bit. So you might want to do this. I can do it like that and then turn it over and sort of centralize it. There we go. Doesn't have to be spot on because we're not opening it like a normal card would. So it's very forgiving. And there you've got your tassel. And there you've got the opening of your hat. Now you might want to put something inside. So we're going to open that up. And I am going to do a couple of things. I'm going to stamp a sentiment and I'm going to use some rub-ons. So I'm going to use "Congratulations, You've Passed." So let's stamp that on first. I'm going to choose my sentiment. So I think I'm going to have "You are capable of amazing things," because graduation is the start of a very exciting journey of a young adult's life. So you simply remove the backing, put it where you want to, center it on the page and rub. These are so simple to use, but so effective. And I leave these two panels to write something nice to the recipient. Now this should open and close very easily. And there we have it, our graduation card.